and Tom Long had them call me, and it kind of got into the starting to think about this is something that we don't ever talk about at this conference. So I wanted to possibly have them come out and have them show you what they showed me with my personal portfolio, and start thinking about this stuff, because it's never too late. You got to start thinking about it now, because when you get to 50, you're like, oh, I don't have any of that stuff. Well, it's good to have something to start, at least at the beginning. So I'll turn it over to them and let you guys go.
So thanks for coming and spending some time with us this afternoon. We really appreciate Chris giving us the opportunity to come speak to you guys. Kind of the idea came about, see, mentioned going to one of the NFL association meetings like this, and for their video folks, and they have somebody come out every year and talk to their coordinators from each of the 32 teams. And so we thought, hey, you guys have helped me. Some of the other folks actually sitting in this room, we helped out. So would you mind coming to speak? So we really appreciate the opportunity. A little disclosure, this is very general. Each and every plan is very specific to our client. So this is, if you think about this a little bit, I'm going to try to frame it for you. So if a head coach picks up the phone, calls you in your office, he says, hey, my computer won't run. What do I do? And the first thing you say is it plugged in? Right? Is the power on? Right? It's the same thing, right? So this is a very jumping off the starting point, because the first meeting, whether it costs about 45 minutes to an hour, we spend just getting to know them, right? And so this is just meant to generate some thought. This is about you. We want to make it relevant. So we actually reached out to the current clients that we have in your profession from different schools. They're spread out all over the country. We actually work with a number of people at the universities, whether it's administrative side, football coaches, coaches from other sports, and then folks in sports staff. We work with quite a few of those people because of my background. I'll get into that in just a second. But this is about you. So as we go along, if something generates some thought, somebody else is probably thinking about it. So raise your hand, ask a question. We want to make it relevant. Okay. So a little bit about me. Just to kind of frame it for you. So that was me for 11 years. I started as a graduate assistant at the Northwestern. Errol Seaver, he's here. So I knew Errol when I was 23 years old. I had two players that were older than me that I was coaching when I was at the Northwestern. I met Errol. He was running a video when I was there. But just through meeting the folks that I met in my career when I was at Lake, and then Lenore Ryan, and then Duke, and then UNC Charlotte, helped start the program there, and then decided better recruiter than I am. He recruited me over to join his team. So our team, myself, Turner, my brother, can't tell, brother. Before you ask, like the lady, I haven't done it, and I wait to stand up. Y'all twins? No, we're not twins. I'm actually 4 years older, but John Garwood has been with this about 38 years. He primarily does wealth management, and then Turner and myself, we have 3 associates, Holly, Browning, and Haley, that help us put together this stuff, and that's our team. We take a little bit different approach than most financial advisors do. It used to be a one-stop shop. You got one guy, he does your insurance, he does your investments, helps you manage your 401k, whatever that might be. We're a little different in our approach. It's more of a team approach to all of our clients. But that was us. For 11 years. I've got a wife, I'm married. I've got a wife and 3 kids. And for me, being able to see them grow up is important. And so that's why I decided to make the switch over. But the same approach that I took when I was coaching up these guys is the same approach that we take in our financial planning. We have 3 core values that each and every meeting are the forefront. The first is family. So obviously we're family, but when we sit down with folks, we consider those people family. We want them to feel like they're part and we're part of what they're trying to do. This stuff's important, right? So we want to make sure to be a constant in their lives. The second is honesty. I really feel that, I mean, if you're not honest with somebody, they know just like that, right? These kids, our clients, if you're not honest with somebody, they're going to know immediately, right? And that's the bridge between a healthy relationship. And we really, our team holds firm to that, and we make sure that our clients know that that's what they can expect from us on the front end. And then third is stewardship. When we were growing up, our mom and dad ran Little League baseball. And one day we went out, I think I was 8 or 9, we were 4, 5, 6 years old. And we go out and the fields out there, you know, the mowed grass, we did the lines, we did it all. And because nobody else was doing it, right? We did baseball in the hometown. So we got out there, we did it. And at the end of the day, you always know it's not exactly, you know, how you left it. It's nice, green, everything. We have cups, paper, everything. And our dad brings us up to the little box, you know, we do school. And he says, "What do you guys see?" Really young, like, no, what can you see? What's up with paper, the cup, whatever. Right. Is that how it was when they got here? So, right. So, like, if the sun's going down, turn the lights off and ready to go. So we go out there, we'll leave it on, right? We go out there, we pick up all the stuff, put it away. And that's something that's always stuck with me for a long time. With both of us, you know, you always leave a person or a place for everything. Right? And that's a model that we, again, something that we take in each and every meeting that we have in our time. All right. So why are we here? So creating a financial plan. I'll make the switch over here.
You guys can pass around a couple of sheet based on that on how much each financial security. That's where we'll start off. A couple different handouts there.
So again, take notes, ask questions. So we reached out, like I said, to folks who will work with the profession already, and this is generally, you know, what we got the most feedback. This is what will be the most relevant for the folks, especially starting out. All right. Before we get started, is there anything you want to make sure that we cover? Anything that's been like top of mind, be like, hey, I really got to get here. You're going to talk about that. Yeah.
So a lot of us move around for jobs.
Yep.
Biggest thing is it better to say you've been in like 4 or 5 schools, you better off to go through their retirement plan, things like that, when they're willing to match a portion of it, but then you might have to, when you're retiring, then you have to like go get a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. It's better off just to have it personal.
Right. So we'll get to that for sure. We refer to that as portability. Right.
Right. We're a little bit retirement.
That's definitely something that
Huge, and we see it as a benefit because we understand the right to do this.
exactly.
Yeah, so we've had 3 different goals or
Anything else?
Okay, we're going to go through,
Yeah. How much life insurance?
Okay, life insurance. We've got a slide here, it's kind of life insurance 101. So that'll be part of the risk management.
Anything else? Again, this is for you. Hopefully, you take away something, even if it's something small, and we'll make sure that you get it figured out. So I would ask you on a video the question, all right? And get this thing to work. So what does it mean to you? What's financial security mean to you? Just scribble it down. Put a little place. You know, everybody has something, a note, piece of note paper there. Just a few things. Maybe what does it mean? And again, it's to start the talk.
It could be, having enough money to retire at a certain point, a feeling that you have, no amount of assets.
All right, so as you kind of jot those things down, it starts your brain turning over, right? The gears start grinding. So how many of you feel that you're financially secure? I won't ask you to raise your hand, but just in your own mind, you know, you feel that way. But if you don't, it turns out you're pretty good company. So Northwestern And the other top companies, you know, in our profession, they do the same thing that everybody else does. They put out these feelers, these surveys, you know. Do you feel like you're financially secure? But what's top of mind for you when it comes to personal finance? And actually, personal finance and personal health are always in the top 2 or 3 you know, when they get their results back. But it always becomes secondary when they start thinking about vacations, career, spending time with family. Those things are really important, right? But we'll spend more time planning our vacation than what we're actually going to plan for the long haul, right? So we're going to have to retire at some point. But you can see here, 6 out of 10 folks says the financial plan needs improvement. 2 out of 3 don't even have a long-term financial plan. Actually, 71% of folks don't have a financial advisor.
So again, first of all, thank you guys for letting me come speak to you today. I actually was a video, I worked on a video staff for Al Franklin Wake Forest when I was an undergrad. So I think you change things around now with holding the camera on the shoulder for practice. It was on all that. So my shoulder by the end of the day, I think I was getting, that was probably the worst what he had 2 days a week. I was doing game day stuff and all practice. But we're trying to help you guys build some fundamentals here today on how to structure a good long-term financial program, right? So you guys are obviously smart enough to be able to do most of this on your own. Luckily, you don't have time to do that. That's why we have a job. We know what it takes to build a successful athletic program. I have no idea what that takes, other than hiring a drill and then letting him go. We have a pretty good, Ryan went. They won the South Atlantic Conference, finished second in and their last 4 straight goal games after their last second. Fireman, some kind of trend there. But a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, it's not a one-size-fits-all. The cover strategy doesn't work with financial planning. Your goals are going to change. Your family dynamics are different when you focus on your left and on your right. So just to enter stuff in online and try to do it yourself, it's not always the best approach. The second thing is it's not a one-time event. So initially when we go through the fact-finding process with clients, set up and get your employee benefits, that's great. Things are going to change. You're going to have family members. You're going to retire at a different point. You may have different sources of debt. Another thing, ERISA guidelines, retirement guidelines that are set forth for how we go through different compliance areas. If you guys don't understand these things, there are changes happening in the background. Your employer provided benefits change annually, so each October when you're doing open enrollment, it's not the same as it was the year before. So make sure either you're looking through those things, or we have our clients just for those open enrollment packages over. So we'll look at the health benefits, make sure the family's covered, look at the life insurance benefits, look at the long-term disability benefits. All these things are going to change over time. But getting started at a basic level, you know, most of you guys look like you're 30s or 40s, but if you're 25 years old, at a basic level, first thing we do is go through a budget with us. Make sure that what you're spending on a monthly basis isn't outweighing what you're taking in. It seems very simple, but we have a worksheet, and then I've got my primary market in Charlotte, or that's the making guy, and make $400,000 a year. I go through a budget worksheet with them because they'll spend every dollar that they have once I go through a budget. So no matter if you make $35,000 a year, doesn't matter if you make $350,000 a year, still need to go through a basic budget worksheet. Emergency fund, you guys, we set this up after budget's executed. That's 3 to 6 months of cash on hand for fixed expenses. Those are your mortgage, your auto, your health insurance, life insurance, those types of things. Groceries, I don't think you can build in like your budget for the emergency fund, but I know some of the guys, maybe the big guys, go back and the blue budget as part of their emergency fund. But seems basic, but crucial to make sure that the financial plan is sound. And two, creating a vision. So once you already have this, we want to make sure that whatever you're doing on a monthly basis or an annual basis, with your savings is aligned to what your goals are. Folks, they say they want to retire at a certain point, and say they want to take care of their family or send their kids to private school, whatever it might be, but they're spending every dollar. So clearly they're not aligned, so making sure that we've got that covered. Refining the goals and balancing priorities. It's great, if you want to save or if you want to retire at an early age, but we don't want you spending all of your money or having to worry about eating wrong legal soup to save every dollar you have. So make sure that we're balancing those priorities and allowing you to maintain a certain standard of living while saving for the long haul. And then approaching retirement, we're going to get into this a little bit more, but what is the most efficient use of your dollar? Is it through an employer provided plan up to a certain point? Is it with a Roth IRA? Is it with a traditional IRA? There's a million different things that are out there. What's going to be the most efficient way for you to make sure your money lasts? If you finally on the back end, once you've saved all that, when you're distributing that out, what are the things that you need to keep in mind? We'll get into that. Call this their Viagra slide. We'll get into that a little later. So just going to go through here on some things.
All right, so the first thing that we do when we sit down with our client is we draw out the pyramid. I mean, we'll flip over, we have fact finder, right, or a piece of notebook paper, whatever we're trying to separate. And you guys have this, right? You passed it out. So, the financial security is really built on these three things. The first one that's already kind of been mentioned is the risk management piece. The next one is wealth accumulation, and then wealth preservation and distribution. And we sit here and draw it out, and then you can see it's a cyclical deal. So every 6 months, definitely yearly, we're sitting down with our clients and beauty of technologies that we can do go-to meetings. I have a coach that works with Fresno State, and we do his annual reviews through go-to meetings. All right, so whether we're meeting you in person or we're doing it over the internet, we sit down and go through all this with our clients, identifying their goals, developing a personal plan, implementing that plan, and then reviewing it. Like I said, every 6 months we'll check in with you, and every year we're going to sit down and really hash out what changed. Right? Something's going to change over the course of that year. But protecting against unexpected risk, that's the risk management piece of it. Saving and investing for the goal, and then preserving what you've worked so hard for. So let's just take a look at these one at a time, okay? So risk management. So let's take a look at risk management piece first. All right. So what is risk management? Yes, insurance is a big piece of that. All right, getting sick or injured. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth in this as we go along. But sick or injured, something happens to your house, right, or to your car, some of your personal property, or unfortunately people pass away, right, long before it's ever their time. So managing these is one of the most important aspects. All right. It's really the defensive game plan to your financial plan. So we want to make sure we've got the defensive game plan covered so we can be more aggressive in other areas. Because we can't be aggressive, in some of the other wealth accumulation pieces of the pyramid. If all of a sudden something happens unexpected, life throws us a curveball, and we don't have those assets to be able to work with. Set up an emergency fund. Trevor already talked about this, very basic. Paying down debt. Paying down debt it's a risk, right? Because we don't want, and we've seen it all. $50,000 in credit card debt, $350,000 student loans. So our the occupation group we primarily work with, investment banking folks who work in Richfield, Mason, Charlotte, town, people in the athletic world at the university level. And also the medical market. So my wife's a veterinarian, and so we dealt with this ourselves. We seek the financial advice. How in the world would they have to spend money? It seems so easy. You may or may not have some of that in your life, or your spouse might go along with them when you guys got married. So that may be a factor for you, but we don't want to have to go out and get another credit card if something happens. We roll a tire that now it's got 15 or 20% interest rate on it, right? So we just open ourselves up more ways, right?
All right, and as we continue, first of all, I'd like you guys to just write down, what do you consider your largest asset today? Think about it. What's the biggest asset that you have?
Some responses we typically get: a house, a car, or you've got inheritance or brokerage account.
Anybody want to guess what we consider your largest asset?
Credit rating?
Your health, credit rating. Okay, those are good. Those are guesses. In reality, your largest asset is your ability to earn. So think about this. Your government forces you to own a car or a home, you have homeowners or auto insurance, right? They don't force you to protect your income. An example, usually when I sit down with clients for the first time, and we'll talk about, let's say you've got $100,000 a year income, your salary. We work 10 years. We're protecting $1 million income, right? 20 years, that's 2 mil. And then 30 years, that's 3 mil, that's without inflation. I don't have $3 million in assets currently, so if you don't have your income protected, there's not a whole lot that we can do for you.
I would kind of frame it for you. So I never made this in coach meetings, right? So maybe 100,000 for some of us doing it in a room. It was never for me that way in the 11 years that I was a coach. But if it's less than that, it's even more for it, right? You have the ability to save that 100,000 whatever's left over from what you're spending.
And you're not going to have as much discretionary income. So when we're talking about protecting income, this is risk management. 3 things: disability, long-term care, debt. That's just life insurance. So this includes that root canal financial planning. We want to hit these first, so that if there are any gaps here, we cover those, and we just accumulate as much money above the cost of the insurance, right? Disability, long-term disability, short-term disability. Check what your work benefits are, but all the other guys that we work with that are in the room or across the country, most university systems will offer you 50% or 60% of your salary. Now, almost 100% of the time when we reach out to folks and tell them check, say, hey, you have long-term disability. Yeah, I don't know if disability is covered. We don't need to worry about it. The problem is you only got 50 or 60% of your salary covered. Long-term disability, by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to take you out of work for the rest of your life. There's about a 50% chance if you're a male age 35 that you'll have a long-term disability in your lifetime between now and age 65. The odds of long-term disability happen about 5 to 8 times as long as down to male or female. Whereas high than dying before age 65. Everybody has life insurance, right? The problem with disability is that, again, most employers do provide it, which is great. The problem is people think they're fully covered. Some spending habits, most people spend 65 to 80% of what their after-tax is from a paycheck. But if you've only got 50 or 60% of your income coming in, that's a taxable amount, there's an issue there. And usually, you go to savings and you start spending your 401k and pay the penalty. 1 out of every 3 bankruptcies in the United States talk about disability. It's a big deal. So check on that. That's a huge factor that you guys will go back and check on usually with your online benefit program. Long-term care is typically not covered in the university system. Long-term care, if it's for you or for a parent, folks are living longer today, not necessarily as healthy. But Medicare, Medicaid, I know it's confusing as hell. Medicare is going to cover from day 0 to 120, roughly, right? Medicare after day 120, if you need custodial care or a parent, and In a nursing home, the average cost per month in a nursing home is about $6,000. There are nursing homes that are legal cases in North Carolina across the country. These nursing homes, even after the parents have died, are going after the kids for whatever's left in how much debt that they have actually. So we'll take a look at that. We usually don't implement long-term care insurance for you until around 45 or 50, unless you've got a lot of extra discretionary dollars. You'd rather get a health insurance, long-term disability insurance, and life insurance. And then finally, life insurance. Particularly life insurance. There are three big things when we go through life insurance for analysis for clients. Three big things. The first, most folks will cover is if you have a family, is existing debt. If you're not around, and the mortgage paid for it, or the car is paid for in full. The second thing would be college, where everyone's sending kids to private school, K-12. We'll factor that in. And then the third thing is going to be a residual income for your spouse. So for Drew, what he needs to do, I said, all right, we got all mortgage taken care of, college expenses for Wyatt. How much is Laura due on a monthly basis if you're not around? So you have to pay, you have to back into it that way. We want to determine that number. It's not a lifelong number, but it might be until your next kid, or it might be until you pay down a large sum of debt. But that's how we factor into it. There's a million different types of life insurance, but the key that we want to focus on first is getting the right debt benefit amount. Worry about permanent versus term debt.
So even if you don't end up working with somebody, with us, or with somebody in our profession, if you're just going to State Farm and they say, hey, $1 million, you'll be fine, back into it that way, because they're just throwing it on the ground. Right? You want to make sure it covers them. That's what we do.
We don't want to be overinsured. We don't want to be underinsured. And generally, 6 to 7 times over your lifetime, we're changing the life insurance. Hopefully that answers your question on life insurance. Any other questions on life insurance?
So just a quick recap, right? Risk, long-term disability, long-term care, and life insurance. That's how you cover your risk. All right. Make sure you got emergency fund budget set up. Any other questions around risk before we move on? Did that answer your question about what's the right number?
Let's get into this one. You're making a financial plan. So this is the wealth accumulation version of building a successful financial plan. And this is where we're going to get into retirement and education. The key here, it says, is to make the most of your money by making investment decisions that are right for you. There's a ton of information that's out there online, on CNBC. My favorite clients will call in Jim Cramer's on the background with CNBC. Want to buy XYZ stock just because somebody says it on television. But we want to try to kind of clarify what are some good options for folks that are in the university program or outside of that. So the first thing a lot of clients want to look at is college costs, or how to pay for college for their kids. How many of you guys have kids? Well, when Drew and I were back into this, we're running an analysis just on the life insurance side and these other analysis for folks. But estimated costs for public schools right now, 18. Estimated costs for private around 40, 41 and up. And the average inflation right now is about 5.6, whereas CPI for private is flat 2% a year. So continuing to rise. Generally, there are types of programs that we'll look at clients. In North Carolina, we've got the North Carolina 529 program, D 529. You can check Vanguard funds. They've got target dates that'll automatically rebalance it for you. You get a state tax deduction. South Carolina has a state tax deduction. A couple of other states, I'm not sure for every state, so you want to check and see online. You can usually get a state tax deduction for your contribution, either up to a certain amount or it could be fully deductible. problem with 529 is that if you get a full ride, I know they have a group exchange program, so you may have access to, but anything on the back end that's not used for college, you pay a 10% penalty. So we try to have a couple different buckets and back into it that way. So you may want to put $50 a month into a 529, you may want to put $50 into a brokerage account that's not qualified, and then $50 a month into a savings account. We've got 3 different buckets to pull from, as opposed to putting everything in 529 and then taking full ride. Make sense? One thing I will say about education is we primarily look at retirement first for clients. Take care of yourself first. You don't take out a loan for education. Plus, loans are offered to anybody, no matter what the income is. You can't take a loan out for retirement. If you're just throwing everything in a 529 and not putting anything into retirement, you'll really screw yourself down the road. Make sure you've got a plan there. And in general, I'd say maybe 15%, 10% of our clients will have it fully funded. You can always pay out of pocket. All right, retirement savings. We're going to get into what's the best option for you guys. Are you going to be changing schools, or are you going to change programs? You got a new 401k option or 403b option. What do you do? So when Drew left, when we're on end, when Drew left too, you have the option to roll out your 401k tax-free, penalty-free, to your new employer or to an IRA, individual IRA, self-directed, through Fidelity or Schwab, whatever account you choose, or if it's managed by someone like Drew, you can roll it into that as well, tax-free, penalty-free. Generally, we say it's probably a good idea to either move it into the new 401k so that you actually are looking at it, or have somebody manage it so that we make sure that the investments are appropriate, not just at the time of inception, but on an ongoing basis. We've had a huge run of large caps like we've had the last 5 years. It's probably going to be where the original allocation might have been 30% of your portfolio for a large cap. Today, it's probably going to be 60% of your portfolio. In general, when clients look at what, when they're investing, they'll look at what is the best the year before and then try to chase gain. So we're due for a correction. I think we're going to see it's common to have 2 10% corrections per year in the market. So we're due for a correction. And if you've got everything that's in old 401k that's got 50 grand in it or 100 grand in it from 10 years ago, you probably haven't looked at it since you set it up when you were 23 years old right out of college. You probably won't look at that. 401ks, important things you want to look at there is go up to your match at least. I have clients that don't do that at all. You guys know what a match is. You put in 3%, you put in 6%, they're going to match it. We found folks that aren't even going up to the matching point, so this is free money that you have access to. Generally, the younger guys that are right out of college, they're really living in yellow shag or green shag carpet.
Poor guys,
Yeah, so he wouldn't put any money away. I know he wouldn't put any money away his first few years out of college, but at least try to go up to your match and get some free dollars.
Well, I just know this too, in talking to coaches, the closer you're getting to retirement, and your children are gone, the more you want to, they advise me, the more you want to get up to the maximum that the school's allowing to do that.
Speak to,
Yeah, the limit, you can put up to $18,000 a year into a 401k. But clients aren't up to the match yet. Really, like I said earlier, you start compounding. I think one that's 8 points a roll. Compounding effect over time is a big deal. IRA and Roth. So we have a lot of clients that ask us, what should I do, a Roth or should I do a 401k? Quick answer is at least go to the match in your 401k. We'll take a look at what tax bracket you're in now, what tax bracket you're in down the road. But it might make sense for you just to go to the match and get free money in your 401k and then start a Roth outside of the 401k. Major differences here: 401k is pre-tax. So you're putting it in before tax right now. It's growing tax deferred. On the back end, every dollar you take out is taxable. You got $1 million in a 401k, and you're at a 30% tax bracket at age 65. You start to pull this money out. You really only have $700,000. But if you've got $1 million in a Roth IRA, put it in after-tax amount, gross tax deferred, every dollar is tax-free, you got $1 million. Problem is,
Speak to the limit.
yeah, the limit on the Roth, so if you're single, you can add up to $5,500 a year. You make them below about $129 to have access to that. If you're married, common only, then you make them below $180 to $182. And you can add up to $5,500 a year per spouse. And then if your wife's not working or if your husband's not working, then you can go in and add for them as well. If you're married, and then IRA, generally we're not looking at IRAs unless you're maxing out your 401k. Don't qualify for the Roth. That's probably the non-deductible IRA situation. But these are some of the options that you have. In general, like I said, you will write down, see what your match is. If you're not going up to your match, make sure you're doing that. If you are going up to your match, I encourage you to talk to a financial planner and see what might be the best option. And a certified financial planner to see what your best option is to Roth or any questions there? That answer your question?
How bad is Social Security? That will be around when
Yeah.
I retire?
How old are you?
I'm 30.
We're not saying 31. Our experts are saying, the question was how bad is Social Security going to be around? Our experts are saying when we're running the retirement modules, projecting this out, is that for folks that are already 50 and older, projected that 90% of their Social Security payout will be paid, but run the inflation rate at 2% inflation rate. Our age, I'm running it more like 50% estimate. They think, our home office thinks it's going to be 70% most likely. Where they'll go first, like all other programs, they'll go after the wealthiest, and they'll just reduce what their Social Security benefit is. If they already have X amount in assets, like let's say you have $3 million in assets, they're going to say you're only getting 25% weight their Social Security benefit should be because you have sufficient assets to be and I think last we run plenty of modules that for clients to say how we're going to make it serve as possible. My own modules, I run it at 50%. Any other questions there? Yeah.
For a lot of us who make a lower amount of money than some of the examples that you're giving, like how would you, if there are, debt issues, credit card debt from just trying to survive or, student loans, how would you generally recommend us trying to prioritize saving for the future and paying off debt?
Yeah.
And also for some of us, high cost of living on top of having a medium to low income.
Right. So that question was how do you prioritize, you've got student loans or other types of debt, how do you prioritize that with saving for the long term as well? So when we go through a fact-finding meeting with a client, we will go through a full balance sheet with them to find out what their interest rates are on their debt, find out how long they've had, what their payments have been, and what they're required to be putting in. We also find out, obviously, what income levels are on their savings capacity is. But anytime we look at student loans, especially in this program, we want to find out how long you want to pay this amount off. So we'll run a 3-year payoff period, we'll run a 5-year payoff period, a 10-year. Federal loans are forgiven after 25 years. So some folks say I want to pay the minimum amount for the rest of my life on student or for 25 years. Because I don't want to pay $1,000 a month right now. So we prioritize those goals. If you are getting a match in your employer-provided plan, we try to get to that as close as possible. But if you've got $15,000 credit card debt with a 12% interest rate, you've got to go in first, even before the match, because there's a guarantee of 12% at the beginning. If I can guarantee my clients 12%, I've probably already been retired by now. But hopefully that answers your question.
Well, no, for example, I'm contributing to a Roth right now. I'm contributing a little under the max. I'm contributing $400 a month, so I'm like at $4,800 for the year. And I haven't, because I don't have cash, I haven't been able to get to my max. But yet I still have credit card debt from living in extraordinarily expensive places, et cetera,
Right.
And moving around a lot. So I've always had a low income and high debt. So but I've been encouraged to contribute to my Roth because saving that money has not, helped me with my debt necessarily. But my father told me he wanted me to do the Roth regardless of whatever. But I have no money, I have no cash ever because 2/3 of my income goes to bills or more. Rent alone is half of my take-home pay, and then that's the other quarter, and then I have about a quarter or less to live on.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating. So it is for people in a similar situation. Like we're just trying to figure out from a kind of more of a realistic standpoint. When you have no money, you save your arm or you cut it off.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of going through and prioritizing folks or realistically what can you do. We try to, I said we're retired at 45, even if they make a lot of money, there's no way to make money. Right? So I have to have that conversation with them today. You may be working till 70, until you live until you're 100. You may be working till you're 70, unless we start either changing our lifestyle, eating ramen noodles or whatever it is, or we just need to figure out what works for you without getting into too much detail. After the presentation, kind of go through a few things, but without looking under the hood of the car, I can't really give exact advice.
Unfortunately, genetically, I'm probably going to live to 90. It seems to be the trend. So
Yeah.
if this job doesn't kill me, I'm going to be around for a while.
Yeah. Usually I grew up just get 4 roommates in the green shack.
I already have the shag carpet. Thank you.
It's on 60 Minutes, so they builder, mostly women, but instead of going to nursing home here, they take care of each other and live each other home, work here in Boston, this place where it's ridiculously high to live. But yeah, I mean, we love to help out, but part of that is going through an in-depth analysis and kind of prioritize. It's going to be different for you, maybe for someone that's got a family or maybe whatever. There's always something. But if you, I wouldn't say it's on your credit card. If you're not working with a personal financial advisor or somebody that will run an actual payoff analysis for you and figure that out, most people just keep paying. They just keep paying at it, and they have no idea when it's same thing on student loans. They keep paying, but they have no plan for retirement. They put 5% a year in, or 10% a year in. That's great. But what does that do for you? You have no idea what this is going to accumulate to in the future. You have no idea how to distribute those dollars in a way. So unless you have a professional looking at it, then you're just doing a lot for nothing. We're going to get in here talking about what are appropriate types of investments. We're going to have another hour and a half, 2 hours on equity markets, fixed income markets. But what I told Drew when he was at Duke, at LR, that you're going to have with your 401k, you're going to have probably a list of 30 different mutual funds and you have options. In general, if you go out and you try to pick those yourself, you check what their return was on 1 year, you look at 5 years, and you look at 10 years. You're probably going to end up screwing yourself because you're picking whatever it is that's the best the year before. It's not really a long-term option. The best plan that I can tell you guys, unless you're working with somebody already, if you want to do it yourself, is just pick a target date fund. It's not a sexy plan where you're throwing it all in emerging markets, but it's going to populate among different asset classes: large cap, mid cap, small cap, international, emerging markets, international, developed markets, real estate, commodities. You're going to have access to all of that, and they're automatically rebalancing that for you. So if you're 30 years old and you want to retire at 65, pick the 20-40 fund, the 20-45 fund, and it will get more conservative as you approach retirement. Where people really screw themselves, I actually had a former employee that worked at Northwestern in operations there that used to work at while COVID was starting. I don't know if you guys followed what happened in 08 and 09. COVID got started on them. But her 100% of her 401k was an employer provided spot. She was 50 years old. She went from having a couple $100,000 to 401k. She set it up and she initially enrolled. She was maxing out. At that point, $60,500 a year. She was doing the right thing. She didn't realize what she was investing. So no matter how much you're saving or you're able to save on a monthly basis, if you're going into something that could be a bad investment option, then it doesn't really matter long haul. We've got a video here talking a little bit about asset allocation.
Email this out. It's 4:30 now. It's about a 3 minute video. We can email this out. If you're interested in it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is another factor to think about when you're accumulating wealth, right? Is longevity. So we're living longer, right? So that's obviously a risk that needs to be factored in. As we're doing the plan. The reason that pensions are disappeared, all but disappeared, is because we're living longer. Companies can't afford to pay those out for the lifetime of their former employees anymore. Right? So we need to make sure that we're looking at the right buckets where our assets are allocated the way they need to be allocated. You can see here, single 50% chance. The 65-year-old man will live beyond 87, 90 plus. 2% chance a 65-year-old woman will live beyond 90. And if you're married, believe it or not, hopefully it's not streaming my wife, but the chance of you living beyond 94, I have a 50% chance there. So making sure that your money lasts as long as you do is another reason that we meet annually with our clients to rebalance what we need to rebalance. Accumulating wealth. So just a kind of recap, right? So understanding the circumstances, what are your goals when you want to retire? What's your tolerance for risk as we reach or get closer to that age? Designing that allocation based on your goals and your risk and addressing those risks, obviously, 25 longevity. Any questions before we move on? Got some good ones so far. We'll make sure okay.
In the last building block here is talking about distribution. So it's protected with risk management, the middle part about accumulation, and the last part is preserving everything that you guys have worked so hard to achieve. So the old model that the clients prior to 0809 is, let's assume you have $1 million in your 401k by the time you're 65, or $500,000 in your 401k by the time you're 65. The old model was, I'm going to draw down at a rate around 4% per year on my assets. And if I do that, no matter how long I live, the money will last forever, right? 2008, 2009 changed things around a little bit for retirees. You got to think about, if you're taking a 4% withdrawal rate, you got to assume that you're going to be making 6-7% in the market each year. Well, if you have a 30% drop in a market like we had in 0809, you can't continue to withdraw at a 4% rate and expect that money to last. So for clients and for you guys, we got into it a little bit earlier, but I encourage you, we want to have access to a few different buckets that if we have a market drop, we want to pull from buckets that aren't affected by the market. Have cash thrown in, you can pull from for a year or two by the time you're age 65. A Roth IRA, at least you're not paying ordinary income tax on the back end, so you're not having to take out as much from that account like you would in the 401k. Term life insurance is a great place where you pull cash while there is a market downturn. You don't have to worry about cash value decreasing. Annuities, either way, you give yourself a personal pension. Annuities get confused in a million different types, but basically you give us $100,000 and we'll tell you we'll give you a guaranteed income for the rest of your life, just like your pension plan. And it'll all go into this cash reserve. We figure out what's the most effective and efficient use of distributing that out into one call.
Yeah, so the final piece here to the plan is estate planning. So you don't need to be old and they're wealthy, you know, to start estate planning. So actually, when you're 18, if you haven't done it already, but you can establish a power of attorney. When you get married, establishing a will. We're not attorneys, but we bring folks in for our clients that we have relationships with, trusted relationships with, that they've proven themselves to us over a long period of time by working with either ourselves or other clients to help make sure that we have those sorted out for our clients. We have kids. You know, if you have them already, making sure you'll have a guardian appointed. We plan to leave money to your children, charity or alma mater. You want to make sure you have, you know, those things set, right, for the plan. Because leaving a plan is so much more important and impactful than actually if you leave money. Right? So finding your legacy, because it helps to ensure your wishes will be honored. I say leaving a plan is more important than leaving money because of friction. We've all seen it. We've been part of it. We have a grandparent or a parent pass away, and if it's not laid out who gets what and how it's supposed to be distributed, then there's going to be friction. And you don't want that to happen, right? You don't want that to happen, especially if we're the ones that are responsible for laying that out. Your gift. Their plans are important to get the money, right? So, why fund the legacy? I mean, we went, why fund the legacy, making sure your wishes will be honored. So, we all have a copy of this. It's all, we passed it out. That's the platform that we go off of and that we revisit, each and every year. Why is it important? You kind of mentioned before, having a certified financial planner and advisor to work with. The CFP designation is huge. Has anybody seen a commercial with a drummer? The guy playing drums, he gets the ring on the doorbell. Opens the door up and goes, hey, we'd really like to sit down and talk to you about a long-term goal or financial plan. He's like, I can help you out with that, we'll talk to you, whatever. And so they hand him the check. He's like, oh, thanks, I'll have that ready before he goes back into the room and drum it again. You ever seen that? So, I mean, have a certified financial planner because, your brother-in-law who watches Susie Orman is not going to know, each and every day, like what the market looks like. He's not going to know, how your benefits are changing. They're not going to know, the things that are huge factors in the day-to-day, the month-to-month, year-to-year, all the way to working with your plan. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Things we didn't hit. Hopefully we covered affordability. That's a big one, obviously, in your profession. It's something I dealt with, we know. We know how to handle those things that you have. Additional questions around affordability of your political life benefits, we can help you out with that. And life insurance. Anything else? We have some information. Yeah, I think we got. So we have. There's a sheet here. If you want us to contact you directly, you probably forget after a couple of beers tonight there's the Diamondbacks game, right? Whatever we talked about today. But if you'd like us to reach out to you directly, we can get your name or but it's always best if you come to us, right? So if you're interested, come sign up right here. Leave us a good contact number, good email for you. We're happy to reach out. Our callers are up here. We actually have a sample plan. A lot of this stuff that you get from the plan, but this is actually a really good piece that summarizes it all. Thanks again for letting us. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, this is something we can do.